Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Freewheeling, the show where you send your questions and I give you answers. I am Dr. Dave Nichol, of course, and today we've got a really good question from Fiona. Fiona is in her third year at Dublin. Now, Fiona's question is great because she's struggling a little bit with purpose and so what's going on in her mind, Fiona, I'm going to break this down because you've got a lot of questions in one email, but they're great questions, okay? So first thing is you're seeing a lot of other people around you know exactly what they want to focus on in their career. And for you, you don't feel that way. You feel like, you don't have that purpose and things are a little murkier. Um, so let me just address that to start with, all right? Anyone who thinks they've got it all figured out when they're 28 or 29 is simply living in, don't get me wrong, it's great to have a plan, but anyone at that point who thinks they've got it figured out is living in the land of the consciously incompetent. And I am not knocking having a plan. Like I like people to have objectives, but even having everything all figured out ain't just impossible. Let me tell you, I am 43 years of age. I consider I've done a lot. You meet my friend. I'm going slightly weird here, right? But who cares, right? Meet my friend. This is quite a cool sculpture by quite an expensive sculpture, so shouldn't throw it around, but it's just hilarious. There's so much intricate detail by a guy called Guillermo Francino, and it was bought for me by a dear friend in Australia a number of years ago as a Christmas gift. Why did I tell you that? I tell you that because for the first time I actually had the opportunity to unpack him and put him on my desk, which is just over there. I live in Brighton, in England. I've done a lot of things career-wise. I've been a general practitioner. I've worked briefly as a locum. I've been a clinical coach. I've led teams. I've owned practices. I now work as a sort of part-time CEO across 3 separate businesses. I travel the world speaking, writing books. And I can honestly tell you, hand on heart, I don't have it all figured out. And I'm deeply suspicious of anyone that claims to have this life figured out, right? I've got some acquired wisdom from the journey along the way, which I think help me make decisions moving forward and might help me look back and help people who are trying to chart their own course. But rely on principles and let me assure you, even when you think you've got it all figured out, something will happen that will flip that around on its head. Okay? Life goes on in phases, and it should be that way. That's one of the entertaining, exciting things about life. It's always changing. It's never constant. Even a block of marble that's carved into this beautiful sculpture that will last for centuries doesn't stay the same. It changes with the light. Moss will grow on it. It will discolor. People will vandalize it. Bits will get weathered. So even something as apparently solid and unchangeable as that and robust will change. So my strongest piece of advice for you there, Fiona, is do not give a toss what anyone else thinks they've got figured out. That's for them. And maybe they have, and good on them if they have, right? But I wouldn't bother about that if I was you. Don't be concerned with what someone else is planning to do with their life. And don't try and measure yourself against that and don't try and be like that. Because as soon as you stop being you, I think that's where people start getting in trouble. There is only one you. And the best person you can possibly try to be is you. And try and be the best version of you that is then possible. So work with what you've got to start with. Try not to worry about other people. The second part of your question is about being torn between two worlds. Like your situation is you're kind of this is your second degree, so it's expensive to do that. And you're an overseas student. And so you can see a career path that the degree will take you to small animal medicine, and that will help you. to pay down your debt, so that makes a lot of sense. But you also have this other passion in your life for conservation work and some really interesting things that you want to explore there. I mean, let me absolutely tell you, and the other reason I wanted to flash my veterinary sculpture friend made by Guillermo here was that the sculpture lived in a box largely for the last 6 years. Beautiful gift, highly entertaining. It makes me giggle when I look at it, and a very cherished friend gave me that gift. But he's been in a box because there was nowhere to put him. And I had a 6-month-old daughter when I first got him, and now my daughter's 6. Now I lived in Australia then. I live in the UK now. I owned a veterinary hospital or two then. Now I do a lot of different work. The point is, don't be in a rush to get to your final destination. Explore the world around you. What you love today, you may not love in 5 years from now. What you explore today, you may get to a level of proficiency and expertise that you think, this no longer challenges me and I want to move on. And all of that's just absolutely fine. Take your time. I think the best thing that you can do is be patient and give yourself permission to explore. You've got some immediate challenges to overcome that if you don't overcome, you don't have a plan for them, they're going to inhibit your ability to explore later. So get your money situation in order. Get yourself a solid foundation, doing something that you love if you're not clear, or doing something that has a general base that you can launch out to other things. And just because you're a student in your third year, I don't think unless you want to, and to be honest, I'm going to check myself here because I was going to say, unless you want to be like dean of the vet school and going into academia, but even that's not true. You don't have to start that journey now. Experience, attitude, and then an ability to plot the course once you've taken the first baby steps. I think that's every bit as valuable as knowing, and more valuable than thinking you know everything right now. So give yourself time. Give yourself permission to explore. Relax into the confusion and the uncertainty that you have now, because that's there because there are so many options. And maybe it's okay just to break your plan down a little bit and say, okay, 10 years from now, I would like to check off these boxes if that feels right when I get round to it. But for now, maybe the first 2 years are about learning how to be in general practice. That might not be the way for you, but break it down and just take a step at a time. And don't try and get overwhelmed by doing too many things. This is one of the important things I talk about in my book is people are in so much of a rush, either in clinical practice to try and get experience and do everything. And so they do a little bit at a time, get good at nothing, master nothing, don't get the feedback loop going that makes you feel great because you're developing skills and you're starting to build some certainty in the world that you've got a place. So don't do that scattergun approach. Do it in a more targeted step-by-step way. And if the journey seems like you're not going in the right direction, then you make your plan to change direction. And that's fine. I do not think that will be inhibitory to your career. Not in this day and age, and not if you choose the steps wisely. So take your time, all right? So don't judge your life by others' outward appearances of having it all figured out. Give yourself permission to relax into your career and explore it and take time. Be patient. All right, Fiona, I hope that is of some use to you. Please let me know if it is. If you are watching this advice and it resonates, great. If you want to ask your own question, please hit me up on my website or on Instagram at Dr. Dave Nichol. Until next time, be safe, be well, be happy. Dr. Dave out.